Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your Raw Recap for Monday, May 3rd. Oh, had a little echo there. You hear me? Echo! Anyways, Monday, May 3rd, Charlotte's in the title match. Mansoor debuts and Team RK Bro wins again. Hello. Hi, everybody. It's the Raw Recap Show. I'm Dave. I just watched Raw for you, so you didn't have to. I know a lot of you watching Raw, a lot of you not watching Raw. I feel like most wrestling fans don't watch wrestling these days, right? There's a lot of wrestling fans WWE could tap into, and they've got to give them a reason to watch. And I think tonight, WWE gave us some reasons to watch and some hope for the future. I did not hate the show tonight. I thought tonight's show was actually pretty good. It was a decent episode of Monday Night Raw. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the members, especially. I love you. Shout out to the members. Doug Hepburn, he's here. Angelo Contagonis, my main man, he's here. Shout out to the members. Become a member of the team. Even if you're not a member, I still got love for you, okay? I got mad love. Shout out to everybody watching, all the regulars, Bob, Lorne out in Côte St. Luke. Thank you, Lorne, my man. Raw tonight. Did any of you watch it? Did any of you enjoy it? Did any of you have any thoughts on Monday Night Raw? Give me your thoughts in the chat. Hit me up on Super Chat, and I will definitely get to your thoughts here on the show tonight. Let's get right into it. Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville backstage. This was a pre-tape segment to open up the show, kind of set us up. Pearce and Sonya, the directors of authority on Raw. They got MVP there, and they're going to flip a coin to find out who Bobby Lashley will face tonight on Raw. Will it be Braun Strowman or Drew McIntyre? Braun and Drew both show up. They start arguing. Braun saying that Drew was the one who sent Mace and T-Bar, or rather Drew saying that Braun sent Mace and T-Bar last week to attack him, and that's why Braun won the match on Raw. Braun and Drew kind of get into it, and then Braun decides to call tails for the coin flip, and he wins the coin flip, which means he gets to have the match with Bobby Lashley tonight, which was our main event. And it was, it wasn't my favorite match on the show, but we had some other things that were pretty good. Like the returning, drum roll please, they actually had a drum roll for the return, which was kind of weird. Like a drum roll going on, like a drum roll sound effect before AJ Styles' music hit. But hey, if you're going to have a drum roll for anybody's return, it should be the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. He and Omos, the new Raw Tag Team Champions, winning them 3 weeks ago at WrestleMania. It's now been a month since we've seen them on Raw. AJ says that they've been on vacation partying because they had better things to do than to hang out on Raw and throw tomatoes like the New Day did, which is what the New Day did do last week. They threw tomatoes. And we saw more tomato throwing tonight on Raw, of course. You couldn't let that go, right? Whew. AJ says it's only taken him 5 years to become a Grand Slam champion in the WWE, which is an impressive feat. But hey, he's a phenomenal one, AJ Styles. He's just freaking impressive. New Day came out and mocked AJ and Omos for being bad champions and leaving right after they won the belts. Kofi talked about when he won the WWE title at WrestleMania with his family and his friends there, the great WrestleMania, Kofi Mania. He was on Raw the next night, and he wasn't even on the roster because that's the type of champion that Kofi is. And then Omos got angry, and he says he was done with the talking, and they won't be able to laugh or walk after he's done with them. And Omos, looking really strong, doesn't leave his feet. They had the match for the tag team titles. Omos pushed Kofi, just a push that looked devastating, just a push to the chest. It was a hard push, and Kofi bumped hard. Omos, again, did not leave his feet once during the match, did not bump. It's hard to tell if he's a good wrestler or not. Like, is he a wrestler? What he did was, kind of wrestling. He has offensive moves. He does a backbreaker. He does like a choke bomb that's just, you feel bad for Kofi and Woods because they're taking these devastating moves from Omos, and you feel it. I mean, they are impactful, right? Omos hits hard. He's very impressive. He's gigantic. He's intimidating. And so far, he's had 2 matches, one at WrestleMania when he won the titles, and now defending here his first match on Raw tonight with AJ against the New Day. He's looked good, but he hasn't done much, right? It's hard to tell with Omos. He's a little stiff in the ring, and I'm not saying stiff like he hits you too hard. I mean stiff like the movement is kind of like his legs don't move that fast, But he's a gigantic dude, so you don't expect him to move like a Kofi Kingston. You expect him to move more like a Big Show, but he's a little slower than Big Show, right? So we'll see. I like him. He's, certainly impressive. He looks the part, right? AJ and Omos beat New Day. They beat them again. They retain the tag team titles tonight, beating New Day in the WrestleMania rematch. Not doing it at WrestleMania Backlash. They did it tonight on Raw. The phenomenal forearm that AJ hits it off of Omos's shoulders. Usually jumps off, does a springboard, but this time, to get more height on the phenomenal forearm, he jumped off of his tag team partner, Omos, and that's how they won. 1, 2, 3, middle of the ring. They beat the New Day. AJ and Omos are an impressive tag team. Who can beat them? Kofi and Woods have done a tremendous job of making them look like $1 million. I wonder what's next for them. I wonder what is next for AJ and Omos. I really do. The Raw Tag Team division isn't super deep, right? Not a lot of teams on that roster. We just saw another team break up, Cedric and Shelton tonight, right? So, not many tag teams on Raw, especially babyface tag teams for AJ and Omos to go up against. Who are the babyface tag teams on Raw right now? You have the New Day. I mean, Riker and Elias are heels. Mace and T-Bar, if they're still a thing, they're heels, right? Are there, I guess, Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado, they won tonight. They actually beat Shelton and Cedric, so maybe they're next for AJ and Omos, a little feudski. I wonder. You figure Team RK Bro versus AJ and Omos is the program down the road, but do they rush it and just do it now because of the lack of tag team talent really on the roster? There's nobody. They don't have a lot of tag teams on Raw. So they might have to rush the Riddle and Orton versus AJ and Omos program now. I was saying on Twitter, at Dave Simon MMA, that I thought that this would be a big match for SummerSlam. If they could really book it right and stretch it out, SummerSlam. But given the lack of tag teams on Raw, I don't know how you do that. Might be tough for AJ and Omos to really stretch this all the way to August, right? Who could you put up? Who could you put up against AJ and Omos other than the New Day right now? Not many babyface tag teams on Raw, so they might have to do that right away, unless they can turn Miz and Morrison babyface somehow, but that's not happening. Like, everybody's a heel on Raw in the tag team division, right? It's kind of tough. Oh, Viking Raiders. There you go. Derek John always bringing it. That makes sense. Derek John, a member of the team. Thank you, Derek. Shout out to Patrick C. Hamilton. Jets lost again. Sorry, Patrick. Jets, I'm thinking you're talking about the Jets. That's got to be hockey, right? Winnipeg Jets? Not the New York Jets. I don't think you're disappointed that the New York Jets lost, and I don't think that they'd be playing now because it's not football season, right? Right? I see Patrick's disappointed that the Jets lost. Sorry, Patrick. Patrick out in Saskatchewan, so I guess are the Jets is that the home team that people in Regina are cheering for in the NHL? Why doesn't Regina have an NHL team, People love hockey in Canada. I don't know why Regina doesn't have an NHL team. My man Patrick deserves an NHL team in his hometown. We have one. in Montreal? Why doesn't Patrick have one? Every big Canadian city should have one. That's how I feel. Winnipeg Jets. Thank you, Angelo. Viking Raiders is a good idea, though. Speaking of teams, Viking Raiders, that is a good idea for AJ and Omos. They could do a little program with them. Like, if you wanted to, I was looking down the road at what's coming up next, right? We got WrestleMania Backlash here in May. In June, you have Extreme Rules. And then June you have Money in the Bank. Sorry, June 20th you have Money in the Bank. And then July you have Extreme Rules. So if you wanted to, like, you could do Viking Raiders at Extreme Rules and Money in the Bank. And then push RK Bro all the way to SummerSlam, and you do that match then. And maybe that's when AJ and Omos drop the titles to Randy and Riddle. You could stretch this and make it a big match. Viking Raiders, that makes a lot of sense. Patrick saying Regina is a small town, 260,000 population. Is that not enough for an NHL team? I don't know. I don't know what's enough. I don't know what you need for a pro hockey team. But I feel like, 260,000, I don't know. Would there be a bigger city? Is Saskatoon bigger than Regina? Like, what is the biggest city in Saskatchewan? Would it be considered Regina? Or is Saskatoon more populated? I don't really know the demographics of that. But, I feel like a lot of Canadian cities or towns even could have a hockey team. If you have 260,000 and you have a 15,000-seat arena, you're telling me you couldn't sell that out for however many home games, 40 home games or whatever a season? How many games are an NHL season? I don't know that either. It's like 80, isn't it? It's like 40 home games. You could do that. No? 15,000 for 40 home games? People wouldn't do that? Corporate sponsorship and so on? I don't know. I know wrestling. I don't know about hockey and how that works. I know about wrestling. I know about AJ and Omos. I love them. I was very happy to see AJ and Omos come back. I thought the match was really good. I enjoyed it. I don't know. It might have been even my match of the night. Although, Sheamus and Mansoor was not bad. Sheamus and Mansoor was not bad at all. RK Bro against Elias and Riker was like, okay. The Sheamus and Mansoor match was fun. That might have been my match of the night. It was a close one. I'd say between AJ and Omos against New Day and then Sheamus versus Mansoor. Those were my two favorite matches tonight. It's hard for me to pick one that I preferred over the other. I don't know. Match of the night. You guys have any thoughts? Did you guys watch the show enough to have a pick for match of the night? I mean, I know people are kind of in and out. I know it's hockey season, so a lot of Canadian people are watching hockey and not really Raw, right? But I'd say my match of the night would be AJ and Omos against New Day or Sheamus versus Mansoor. But I'd probably lean towards Sheamus versus Mansoor. I thought that was really fun. Sheamus was bleeding. Like, that was good. That was good. Charlotte Flair is leaving Sonya's office. Adam Pearce is like, what's going on here? And Charlotte's just gone. And Sonya's like, don't worry about it. It's nothing. And Pearce is like, you're overstepping your bounds. There was some development in the Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville storyline here tonight. Big news for Raw, though. Big news for the WWE. Eva Marie is back. She was posing sexily on a Ferrari car. I mean, it was, she was all posing in like a low-cut dress, tight dress, and she was like being, sexy Eva Marie. Ooh. So she's coming back. And then she did this whole, like, motivational speech thing, talking about coming back, how she's, gone out and followed her dreams. I guess she's been in a movie or two, so that's like, And she's followed her dreams, and now she's going to come back and encourage others to follow her dreams where it all started for her in the WWE. Like, she had this great wrestling career, and then she went off and did amazing things, and then came back, and now she's going to help the wrestling business. And I was like, okay. I don't recall Eva Marie being tremendous in wrestling. I think her gimmick was that she was bad. Wasn't that her gimmick? Like, she kind of sucked? And she says the evolution is coming. They really like to use that word evolution in WWE, don't they? They had, of course, the noted faction Evolution, right? Randy and Hunter and Flair and Batista, right? We all remember that era. And of course, Women's Evolution pay-per-view that they did, and now Evolution. Okay, Eva's back. Eva Marie is back. I don't know how many people are pumped for that. I mean, I was surprised to see her. I had heard that she was coming back, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess we'll see Eva back at some point, and she's going to be on Raw. It's another face for the women's division. It's a recognizable face. She was on the first season of Total Divas. People know her, I think, to a certain extent. Wrestling fans are familiar with her, so she'll add something to the division. Maybe she'll be the one that Alexa Bliss goes after. Or maybe she'll, team with Lana or Mandy and Dana, maybe. I don't know. She'd fit in with any number of those people, I think. So, sure. Eva Marie. I'm not mad to see her back. I know some people don't like her, but I don't know. Angelo says he remembers her for her wardrobe malfunction prior to a match against Becky Lynch a few years back. I do not recall that, Angelo. Interesting that stayed in your memory bank. Oh. Derek John says he missed the beginning of Raw watching hockey. Yeah, see, that's typical Canadian. That's exactly what I expect from a lot of people in Canada tonight, right? He says that was Mansoor's first loss in WWE. That's true, right? Because he's been... Is it, though? Because he's wrestled in NXT. Has he only won in NXT? Was that really... Or first loss on the main roster? Because he's appeared on a couple of those Saudi Arabia shows. And he always wins there in Saudi Arabia, right? But I think he beat Dolph Ziggler even in Saudi Arabia. Something like that, right? I think it was Dolph. Yeah, that makes sense. That could be his first loss on the main roster. I know he's worked NXT, but I don't know if he's lost there. I haven't really followed Mansoor that closely. I did recognize that he got a haircut. Looks sharp. He had, longer hair before. He's got, a shorter hairdo now. Those boots were beautiful, too. His boots that he was wearing, golden, shiny, metallic. Very nice. I was kind of mesmerized by his boots, to be honest. They were beautiful. Really nice wrestling boots. His whole gear was nice. He needs a little more size. He's a little kind of small, but, he thickens up. Just eats more steak or whatever. Does a cycle or two. I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying it might help. Right? Gets a little thicker. I think he could be a big star. Talented guy. He's got a good look. He can talk. He can move. He's not bad, Mansoor. I don't dislike Mansoor. Oh, Derek John says he lost 2 in NXT, but he had a different name. Did he, though? His name wasn't always Mansoor. What was his name in NXT? Was it Mansoor or something that they give him a last name, and now it's technically different? What was his name in NXT? Mako making classy comments as always. God damn. I see the comments that Mako makes, but I okay. What else happened tonight on Raw? Charlotte Flair beat Dana Brooke with a figure 8 submission. I thought this match was actually pretty good. Charlotte's always good in there. Dana was solid. No, glaring mistakes. It was pretty fine. It was really not bad. Charlotte was good in it. Really working that evil character that she's doing. Yelling at Dana during the match. I thought the match was quite good. Charlotte Flair is on fire right now. She's so good. In and out of the ring. She can do no wrong. This is her prime. This is legendary stuff right now in Charlotte Flair's career. I'm telling you, Charlotte Flair is the best thing going. She is brilliant right now. This character, the snub at Mania, not being on the card, she has not been hotter than she is right now. I am loving Charlotte Flair. And if you look at the women's division right now, she stands head and shoulders above everybody else. There is nobody who is delivering and who is hot like she is right now. She's just, her character is firing on all cylinders. You look at the rest of the division and it's kind of nobody's really hitting like Charlotte is hitting right now. Derek John says he used his real name when he was first in NXT. Oh, okay. I don't know what his real name is, but all right. So he's lost a couple in NXT, but that was his first loss as Mansoor. But it's a disqualification loss, so it's not so bad. Not so bad, right? Charlotte Flair, good match there. She refused to release the hold after the match, so Mandy Rose attacked her and knocked her out of the ring. And then Sonya Deville came out. And I thought Sonya was going to be like, oh, now, Mandy, you have to do the match with Charlotte. But no, we went to commercial, and when we came back, Mandy and Dana were gone, which was a little weird. Sonya starts doing a promo with Charlotte now in the ring. And Sonya says that she is a WWE official equal to Adam Pearce, and she is here to allow Charlotte to make this statement. And Charlotte gets real aggressive, even with Sonya, and it was kind of a few odd moments there, right? Charlotte says she ended Asuka's 2-year undefeated streak and beat Rhea for the NXT title. She's the most famous face in the WWE women's division and would make the WrestleMania Backlash match bigger by being in it and making it a triple threat. And Charlotte is kind of aggressive towards Sonya. Sonya seems like she wants to talk at certain points, and Charlotte's like, no, I'm not done talking. You're going to listen to me. You're going to shut up when I'm talking to you. Charlotte was kind of bullying Sonya, kind of like the way Roman Reigns, as head of the table, does to Adam Pearce on Raw. Oh, I'm the best. You better shut up and do what I say, authority person, because I'm bigger than the company, right? Charlotte's kind of doing that to Sonya, and Sonya was kind of selling it like she was a little upset with Charlotte and a little bit it was weird because up until this point, Sonya's just been a Paul Heyman to Charlotte. Yes, I'm reinstating you. You're going to get this. You're going to get that. She's just been doing Charlotte's bidding and been happy to do it, and she seems like she's on Team Charlotte, where tonight Charlotte kind of turned on her. Didn't fully turn on her, but kind of did, and Sonya kind of seemed a little bit upset by it, which leads me to believe that maybe Sonya and Charlotte are headed toward some sort of program with each other. Because Sonya's not going to stay a director of authority forever, right? She can wrestle. It seemed to me like they were planting seeds of a Sonya versus Charlotte feud here tonight during this promo. Sonya did, however, add Charlotte to the match with Asuka and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania Backlash. So it will be a triple threat, which I think is far better than what they announced. It'll be Rhea versus Asuka versus Charlotte, triple threat match, which should have been the WrestleMania match, but hey, we're getting here at WrestleMania Backlash, even better. Triple threat for the Raw Women's title. Rhea Ripley shows up and says, nobody likes Charlotte, and then Asuka shows up and yells some stuff. It was pretty amusing. I really liked Asuka's promo. Charlotte was laughing during it. I think she was shoot laughing. I think she was legitimately amused by that. I was amused by the promo. I love Asuka. I'm a huge fan. And then Rhea Ripley got mad, and she got into Sonya's face, being like, "You're the reason why this is happening, da-da-da. Why are you making it a triple threat?" And then Charlotte attacks Rhea from behind, bumps her out of the ring, and then Asuka attacked Charlotte from behind, bumped her out of the ring, and then Asuka kind of stood tall and did her little dance in the ring there. Fine segment. It got to the point, Charlotte doing another great promo. She's great on the mic. Her promos are great. The match was good. Like, she is everything you should look for in a professional wrestler. She has everything going for her right now. The matches are top quality. The promos are top quality. Her look is great. You know, I always go on that Bret Hart scale of 10. You know, I don't know if you all know about this, but Bret Hart has a scale of 10 based on look, promo, and in-ring ability. And I think right now, and if you could be close to a 30, you know, if you're a 25 to a 30, you're in pretty good company. But right now, Charlotte Flair, like, as for a look, I'd probably give her, you know, a 9, in-ring a 9, and promos are, you know, a solid 9 right now. She's a solid 27 wrestler right now, which is, like, very high on the Bret Hart scale. In case you're wondering, Bret Hart wouldn't even rank himself as a perfect 30 on the Bret Hart scale because, you know. But to me, there is only one person that has ever been a perfect 30 on that scale, and that is Kurt Angle. Look, 10. In-ring, 10. Promo, 10. Angle in his prime, I think probably the greatest wrestler we've ever seen. In his prime for that period. Is he the greatest wrestler of all time? I wouldn't say so. But I'd say that the prime Kurt Angle is probably the best professional wrestler that's ever existed. He just didn't have a super long prime in WWE. He did some great stuff in TNA, though. He's one of the best ever. But I like that scale, the Bret Hart scale to 10. Charlotte Flair is very high on that scale right now. She's killing it, killing the game. New Day, backstage, they were getting iced down after their beatdown from Omos. Elias and Jackson Riker are there, and they want revenge because they got pelted with tomatoes last week by the New Day, and they want to hit them with tomatoes. So they wait until the trainer is gone, icing down the New Day, and they go to throw tomatoes, and you see them throwing the tomatoes, but you don't see the impact, so obviously they haven't hit New Day, they've hit somebody else. Very cartoony. It's Randy Orton. Randy Orton got hit with tomatoes, and he just stands there looking upset. And then Riddle shows up, and he's like, "Hey, Randy," kind of saying, you know, shouldn't we team up and get revenge for the tomato assault that you just underwent? And, yeah, I liked it. I mean, I liked Riddle showing up. Randy getting hit with tomatoes is a little, you know, it's WWE. What are you going to do? They won't give up the tomato stuff. They won't. They gave up on the Nia Jax falling down stuff, though. That was good. Nia Jax had a match tonight, and she wasn't, like, falling all over the place. She didn't get splashed with water. So at least they gave up on that. But it seems like the tomato thing, 2 weeks. Probably not next week. I doubt somebody gets tomatoes thrown at them next week. But honestly, you never know. You never know with the WWE. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. Humberto Carrillo is interviewed backstage. Sheamus shows up, beats him up. Humberto and Sheamus have a little thing going. Sheamus, the United States champion, of course. Mako says Charlotte is on her way to becoming the greatest of all time. Yes. Yes, she is. I think she might be there now. I think she probably is the greatest women's wrestler of all time. I would say she is number one in my books. I really would. Up until this point, I would have said Trish Stratus, but now, and maybe in the past couple of years, it's Charlotte. She's the one. She's unbelievable. I could not be a bigger fan of Charlotte Flair. Fantastic in every single way. You guys see she got mad at Dave Meltzer because when she got suspended right on Raw a couple weeks ago, Dave Meltzer said that she was going to go and have, like, surgery, dental surgery and stuff, and he kind of talked about her looks and how you had to maintain a certain look and certain things, and he said some things that were a little off, and Charlotte, like, took him to task. She tweeted at him, was like saying some, pretty mean stuff to him. It's pretty wild, That's why you can't just say whatever you want about these people. You gotta pay attention. You can't say things that aren't necessarily true, and also, you shouldn't be commenting on the female's appearance, really, as a man. A female that you're not really close to, that you don't really know, in that kind of way. It was weird. It was a weird little interaction, but it's not the first time that Meltzer's kind of got in trouble for saying stuff about some of the looks of the talent. He got into some heat over some things he said about Peyton Royce. And then last week it was some things with Charlotte Flair. It was, interesting exchange. I was there for it. I was watching on the sidelines, just looking like, oh, what's this? What's this beef? That's a fun beef. We all like a good Twitter beef, right? Between Dave Meltzer and one of the wrestling talents. Always interesting to watch. Sonya Deville is backstage with Adam Pearce. Pearce is mad that Sonya added Charlotte to the match without asking him. And Sonya kind of goes back and she's like, I texted you. And Pearce is like, well, I didn't get the text. And she's like, well, the reception in the building's no good. I'm really sorry. When I make these moves, I will consult you first. So Sonya was kind of like, softer touch with Adam Pearce. She wasn't like, oh, screw you, Adam Pearce. I don't care what you say. She was like, okay, Adam, in the future, I will be better. Kind of like babyfaced him, right? It was a babyface Sonya tonight, which leads me to believe that there's something brewing with Sonya and maybe Charlotte. What? Bob Cote says that a wrestling channel said Charlotte is dating Sonya, Liv is dating Ruby Riott, and Shayna is dating Jessamyn Duke. I mean, I don't know what wrestling channel said that, Bob, but that's why you need to come to the Ringside Report Network so you can get the straight facts. Charlotte Flair is engaged to Andrade, former WWE talent Andrade El Idolo, Andrade Cien Almas. You remember Andrade? That's who she's engaged to. So that's, I don't know what wrestling channel that is, but that's why you need to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and stay on this channel for the straight wrestling facts and just a real wrestling opinion from a real person who likes wrestling. Bob, don't listen to these crazy wrestling channels that are out there trying to make a buck off some lies. Charlotte is not dating Sonya Deville. Charlotte is heterosexual as far as I know, and she is dating Andrade. She's engaged to be married to Andrade. Liv Morgan, as far as I know, is in a relationship with Bo Dallas. They might be engaged, but I'm pretty sure they're together. And they live on like a farm together, right? And Shayna dating Jessamyn Duke, that I don't know about. Maybe. I know they're friends, but I don't really know about their personal lives. So I don't know. I couldn't comment on that. I don't know. But yeah, the Bo Dallas and Liv Morgan and Charlotte and Andrade. So, maybe there's some wrestling channels out there who are doing fantasy booking for their favorite wrestling women to kind of, But, no. That's why the Ringside Report Network is where you need to be. Right here. With me, Big Dave, your friend, your buddy, your pal. Right? Scott Stanford. Dave Simon. Right? All right. What else happened on Raw tonight? Miz and Morrison doing a promo talking about Damian Priest and how he's been disrespecting them. And here comes the match. It's John Morrison versus Damian Priest. Morrison hit a nice Spanish fly on Priest after a distraction from the Miz for a 2 count. Priest was on the top rope. Miz kind of jumped on the apron to distract Priest to allow Morrison to jump up on the rope and hit a really nice Spanish fly. Like, it was beautiful. Morrison had Priest rolled up at one point, but Miz was distracting the ref. So Miz kind of cost Morrison the win. And then when Morrison, got out of the small package that he had Priest in, he gets up, and then the ref is no longer distracted. Boom, boom, boom. Priest hits his finisher, 1, 2, 3, and he wins. So Miz kind of cost Morrison the match tonight. Something might be going on there. It definitely felt like prior to tonight's Raw, I don't know if it was today, this weekend, last week, whatever, there was a meeting, a creative meeting to change some directions of things on the show, right? Sonya Deville's character seems to have shifted in a slight way, right? The Adam Pearce Sonya Deville dynamic is slightly different. Miz and Morrison, maybe they're going to break up. There were a few things tonight. Shelton and Cedric officially broke up. Mason T-Bar completely missing in action. Like, there were a few things tonight. Mansoor debuting. Eva Marie, getting a little vignette promo to kind of push her debut. It definitely felt like tonight was the end of the WrestleMania hangover that the WWE's been having, and they kind of finally set some pieces in motion for the future of the company, which was good. They really did seem like they were setting things up for the future, and I think a Miz and Morrison feud could be something we see in the future, because Miz cost Morrison the match tonight, kind of. Damian Priest getting the win over John Morrison. Damian Priest, I would honestly make him a tag team with Aleister Black. I think those guys would be a great tag team. They have the similar gimmick. They have a similar look. They would be a good tag team together. You need more tag teams in the WWE, and you need fewer of these single stars that are going nowhere. You have some pretty heavy, kind of main event and the U.S. title level rosters. You don't need that many more guys to kind of, like Damian Priest right now. I don't know. He could go and feud with Sheamus down the road, I guess, but Sheamus is already doing a thing with Humberto Carrillo, and now Mansoor is in the mix, and maybe Keith Lee's going to reemerge at some point. I would team some guys up. I would team Priest and Black together. I know they're on separate brands, but you could easily remedy that. But Damian Priest, he beats John Morrison tonight, but I feel like Morrison has more of a direction on the show than Damian Priest does. I don't know where Priest goes from here. He's got to pray that they do something with him and Sheamus, because that seems like the only direction that he could go. What else is he going to do, right? Is he going to feud with Bobby Lashley after Bobby's done with Braun and Drew? I think that'd be a stretch. I doubt that. Wouldn't be bad to elevate him, but I just don't see it, right? Not right now. Mansoor signs a contract to Raw with Adam Pearce. Sheamus shows up and talks about how he's got an open challenge, and he kind of says, hey, Mansoor, why don't we have a match tonight? And they did have a match. They did. Derek John wants to know what happened to Ricochet. I have no idea. I don't know what happened to Ricochet. I have no clue. I really don't. Anthony McDonough out in London watching us. Thank you, Anthony. It's 4:40 a.m. I appreciate you joining us tonight, Tony. Tony out in London, my man. We are international. I don't know where Ricochet is. I wish he was around. He's super talented. He could wrestle Sheamus for the U.S. title. Maybe he's hurt, but I doubt it. I think he's just, nowhere. Maybe they'll do something with him. Maybe. Him and Angel Garza might get involved with something, right? Angel Garza is a thing now on Raw. He had a match with Drew Gulak tonight. The Lucha House Party got a big win over Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Cedric Benjamin and Shelton Alexander. A nice elbow drop off the top rope there from Grand Metalik. He climbs to the top rope and then kind of walks on the rope like Undertaker, and then jumps off for a elbow drop. Beautiful stuff. Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado are a tremendous, tremendous tag team. They're so good. They really have they don't talk, really. But in the ring, they're just fantastic to watch. I love watching these guys. I was really happy to see them get a win. But I don't think it was really a win to push them. It was a win for the promo and the breakup of Shelton and Cedric to happen afterwards, right? The point of this match wasn't to make Lucha House Party bigger. It was to break up Shelton and Cedric after losing to such a pathetic tag team like the Lucha House Party, which kind of sucks for Lucha House Party, right? So Cedric is like mad at Shelton for losing the match, and Cedric cuts a big promo on Shelton afterwards, and he said it's his fault, and it's his fault they got kicked out of the Hurt Business, and it wasn't really because of them as a team. It was because they were trying to get rid of Shelton, and Shelton's just the worst. And he says that Shelton has seen countless of opportunities slip through his fingers throughout his many years in the WWE, and his career's almost over, but Cedric's career is in the prime right now, and he doesn't want to miss opportunities like Shelton did, and he's done with Shelton, and the team is over. And Shelton then is interviewed backstage later on, and he says that he's seen many superstars come and go in the WWE, just like Cedric, and Shelton says that he was the one who saw something in Cedric and brought him into the Hurt Business, and now he's going to have to teach him a lesson. So Cedric and Shelton are on their way to a little TV feud. I doubt they have a match at WrestleMania Backlash unless it's the pre-show match, right? Angel Garza had a little thing with Drew Gulak. Gulak calls him a pretty boy and says it's funny that he thinks he's a ladies' man, but he can't score. Can't score? What is this, 1997? Who's talking like this? Think you're a ladies' man, eh? But you can't score. Score. Are people still saying that? Seems a bit crass. Drew wants a match with Garza, and Garza says that after he beats Drew, he's going to shove this rose up his ass. And he did. Angel Garza beats Drew Gulak, and then as Drew is face down on the mat, he lifts his pants, puts the rose on his butt, puts the pants, snaps the pants back down, stands up, and then kicks Drew Gulak in the butt, ostensibly kicking the rose up his butt. Oh, so many ridiculous things happened tonight, like Alexa Bliss is talking to a doll. People are throwing tomatoes again. But the rose up the butt, like, he puts it in his pants, and then he, okay, it's in the pants. Now I'm going to kick it in your butt. And then he kicks his butt to, like, really stuff the rose up there somehow. That was ridiculous. I mean, Eva Marie lying on a Ferrari posing like this. And she's, like, talking like this. Like, who talks like this? I'm going to have a conversation with you posing. Oh. Like, what is that? That was ridiculous, but not as ridiculous as Angel Garza kicking a rose up Drew Gulak's butt. Such silly stuff. Oh, funny stuff. Funny. Happy birthday, Rock, and congratulations on young Rock getting picked up for a second season. WWE had a little promo thing just to congratulate Rock and celebrate Rock, and I'm wearing a Rock shirt, so I can't really say anything. I love the Rock. The Brahma Bull, the People's Champ. I just like the WWE just throwing that out there. Let's suck up to The Rock. Hey, Dwayne, we love you. Happy birthday, Rock. We all love you. I mean, who doesn't love The Rock, right? He's so cool. So cool and muscular. My God. When's he coming back? I miss that guy. Mick Foley says that he feels that Team RK Bro has some Rock and Sock Connection vibes to it. And I agree. I think there are some of that. There's like an element of that there, right? Riddle's backstage with the Viking Raiders, asking them about the NFL draft, and do they cheer for the Vikings or the Raiders, which I thought was kind of funny. And then Eric's like, Eric of the Viking Raiders says he's a Browns fan. And then Riddle wants Ivar to raid and serenade the ladies because he calls them like a sexy guy because that's Ivar's gimmick. He's like a... ladies' man. People love Ivar. He's, like, handsome. But Riddle telling somebody else to raid and serenade the ladies, given the talk about Riddle and his past and so on. It seems a little, but hey, And then he sees Randy Orton, and that's when it got really good. Riddle sees Orton, and he says, hey, bro. And Randy's like, I'm not your bro. And Riddle's like, I know, but, I say bro, like, And Riddle's like, hey, RK Bro, we're undefeated as a team. And Randy's like, we only won one match. And then Randy's like, oh, okay, I'm being mean to him. Do you want to go to the ring and win another one? And, like, Riddle's really hyped about it. He's like, yeah, Randy. And then Randy tells him to, like, close his mouth and, like, locks it with a key. And he makes Riddle give him the imaginary key. It was a nice little moment. They're a good team together. They have great chemistry. Together. Randy is a fantastic straight man for Riddle's buffoonery. He's fantastic. They're such a good team. This is the best thing that the WWE has done in a very long time, putting Riddle and Randy together. Tag team division needs a Riddle and Randy right now, especially with AJ and Omos, this unbeatable duo at the top of the division, right? As the champions, you need Riddle and Randy. I think this is great. I really do. I'm so happy with Team RK Bro, and they got the win over Jackson Ryker and Elias. Randy set up Elias for the Hangman DDT. And last week, when Randy had, I think it was Shelton set up for the Hangman DDT, Riddle had to, like, go to him and be like, hey, tag me, bro, tag me. And then, he tagged him. Randy was, like, kind of not into it, and he tagged him on the back. And then Randy hit the DDT, and Riddle went up for the floating bro and hit it. 1, 2, 3, they won, right? But this time, Randy goes for the Hangman DDT, and he's like, he looks over at Riddle, and he's like, tag time, bro. Like, he didn't say that, but he, like, reached out his hand. He's like, yes, this is our finish. Let's do the tag now. And Riddle's like, yeah, you're into it, Randy. Because, like, when Riddle's so good. His facial expressions are fantastic. When Randy hooks him for the DDT, Riddle's looking like, bro, you gonna tag me? And then Randy's like, yeah, dude. And then he goes, and then they tag, and it's fantastic. It's like a great moment. It's really good. It was beautiful. And, like, they're building on what they did last week. They're telling a story without using words. Like, they're telling the story in the match of the tag team coming together. Like, this is what professional wrestling is supposed to be. This, Team RK Bro, this is what it's supposed to be like, right? Fantastic stuff. So they do that. Randy goes, hits the Hangman DDT. Riddle goes up for the floating bro, but Jackson Ryker's behind, so Riddle's like, hey, watch out. Randy goes, boom, RKO on Ryker. Riddle hits floating bro, 1, 2, 3, right on Elias's face. It looked kind of rough. Hits the floating bro. Team RK Bro gets another win. Elias was, like, grabbing his head. The ref had to go check on him. Like, Riddle landed right on Elias's head. It could have been a concussion. I don't know. Pray for Elias. Rest in peace, Elias. Elias is being taken care of by the Druids tonight. Rest in peace, Elias. RK Bro gets a win, and then Randy lifts Riddle's arm for a moment after the match, and Riddle's face, it was so good. Like, I have to show you. I'm going to show you Riddle's face. If you missed it, the moment that will live forever in RK Bro history. And I love this team, They started off with a one-on-one match that Riddle won. And now they're a team. And, at first Randy didn't want to team with Riddle, but every week he's warming up to Riddle more and more. And here it is, 2-0 for RK Bro. Look at that. Watch this. Watch Riddle's face. You see Riddle's face when Randy lifts his arm after the match? Because last week, Riddle wanted to lift Randy's arm, but Randy wasn't having it, and he just walked out of the ring. No celebration. This time, they win the match. Riddle's happy, and Randy goes to lift his arm, and Riddle cannot believe it. Oh, bro! So good. So good. How can you not love that? And then Riddle went to do his pose, like he kind of got on one knee and like did this pose, and he wanted Randy to do it behind him, to do the like Randy pose behind him, but Randy just kind of like shook his head and walked away, so he didn't do the pose, and they gotta wait until they're in front of people for Randy to finally do the pose with Riddle, because the pop will be gigantic. Like, if you tease it for a while, it'll be like when Daniel Bryan and Kane, like, finally hug type of thing. You know, like, if you tease it, and, like, Riddle's trying to get Randy to pose with him after the match, but Randy's, you know, Riddle's goofy, and he's not really buying into it, and he doesn't really want to be with the team. But the moment Randy goes, all right, we're a team, man, let's pose, bro, you know, or Randy goes, bro, you know, one of those moments. But I think the pose, if Randy finally does the pose with Riddle and it's in front of a real crowd, the pop will be deafening. Like, that's a moment. And these are the types of things that they can build towards and work towards. And, you know, this tag team is off to the races. Wonderful. Wonderful stuff, Team RK Bro, tonight. Beautiful progression of the storyline. Characters that you can understand their motivations. You understand why Randy might want to team with Riddle, because he's like, he's kind of charmed by Riddle. You know, he kind of likes him. He doesn't want to like him, but he can't help but like him. He respects him as a wrestler. I mean, he beat him, right? So Randy's got to respect him. It's good. And you understand why Riddle wants to be with Randy. He's Randy. The motivations make a lot of sense. Everything's perfect. I have no complaints with Team RK Bro. Sheamus versus Mansoor ends by disqualification when Humberto Carrillo shows up to attack Sheamus. So Sheamus beats Mansoor by DQ. Sheamus was bleeding during the match. Sheamus is so rough, and I love it. I love how rough Sheamus is, you know? I think he's just like a new version of Hardcore Holly for the WWE. And I don't mean like he's Hardcore Holly and he's the same type of level, you know, on the card. I just mean Hardcore Holly at one point in the WWE was there to regulate folks. You know, if people weren't behaving properly, if there were some rookies there that needed straightening out, if people needed to pay some dues, if people needed to have a rough match and needed to get stiffed a little bit, Hardcore Holly was the guy that they called. He was a bit of an enforcer for the WWE and for professional wrestling and for the locker room, right? Like, that's kind of a role that he had. You know, Bradshaw did that a little bit too. Farouk, you know, Ron Simmons had a bit of that role, but you know, you always need that type of character in the WWE, in professional wrestling, and any real locker room, a top wrestling company. You need some guys that are veterans, that have the respect, that have the trust of management, that have been there for a while, that can go out there and beat the shit out of some people. And that's what Sheamus does. He beats the shit out of you. He makes you earn it. He makes you pay your dues. And if you're a young guy who's had a pretty cushy life, getting signed, getting trained to learn, you know, getting paid to learn to become a professional wrestler, right? You haven't really paid dues if you get signed to NXT and you have no wrestling experience really to speak of before that. You get signed to a developmental deal. It's a pretty cushy life compared to what most pro wrestlers do and have done in the past to get their foot in the door into the WWE, right? So it's an easier path than most. And for guys like Mansoor and Humberto being so young, being in the WWE, being on Raw, they need to get beat up a little bit by some veterans, by a guy in his 40s who can beat the shit out of them whenever he wants. And look, they fought back, man. Mansoor, he had Sheamus bleeding. Sheamus's head was cut. His arm was bleeding. Like, Sheamus was put through it, and that's what he likes. Like, Sheamus will take it as good as he can dish it out. Sheamus is a legit, tough Irish man, and he is not messing around when he steps between those ropes. And I have the utmost respect for Sheamus. I think he is a top-level professional wrestler, and he's the type of guy I like to see in pro wrestling. And his match with Mansoor, I think, was match of the night because Sheamus is such a hard-nosed, badass professional wrestler. He makes you earn it every time. Every time he walks in there, he is willing to hit you hard, and he wants you to hit him hard right back. He actually reminds me of my good friend Johnny North. That's Johnny's mentality when he steps between the ropes. When Johnny gets in the ropes, my goodness, I have seen him go to war with people. Johnny will hit you hard, but he does not mind if you hit him hard back. And I've seen Johnny get hit hard and hit hard. You know, he has smashed some people. I've seen Johnny North go to war with Drew Onyx a couple of times. Absolutely brutal stuff. Brutal stuff. My man Johnny North, who's with me on Wednesday and Friday nights here on the Ringside Report Network, is a badass professional wrestler. He's the type of wrestler I like watching, and so is Sheamus. Very similar style. They go in there, and they're going to walk away with their skin welted up. But you're going to feel it too. It's a fight in there, and you're going to feel it the next day. You know? My man Johnny is a hell of a pro wrestler, let me tell you. Johnny North. Follow him on Twitter at North Genesis. He's the man. Shout out to you, Johnny. I know you're watching. Johnny's always watching. As he should be. As we all should be. Alexa Bliss did another promo with her doll. She says that somebody has caught Lily's eye. Lily is the doll. The doll there. Yeah. Somebody's caught her eye, but she won't say who it is. So, like, Alexa has her target on somebody on the Raw women's roster, but we don't know who. So she's going to feud with somebody. She's going to wrestle at some point, and the doll will be involved. There'll be some sort of theatrics, but we don't know exactly who it'll be. I don't know if the WWE knows. Maybe they do. Alexa was singing a little bit, too, to the doll. It was not good, right? Yeah. As the show was going on and I didn't see Alexa Bliss with the doll, I was kind of thinking, oh, maybe they just gave up on this. Maybe they realized, oh, this is not going to work. Let's just not do it. But then she came on the screen and was doing it again. So there goes that theory. Bray Wyatt hasn't been on TV in a couple of weeks. That doesn't mean he won't come back, but, you know. Has he been on TV since they fired his brother? Has he? I'm not sure. He may have been, but I'm not sure. He might have done that Firefly Funhouse post-release, but I don't know. I don't know what the timeline is on that. But we haven't seen Bray in a couple of weeks at least, right? Not this week, not last week. So it's been 2 weeks at least. I don't miss him, but I'm just saying. He's not around. Nia and Shayna got the win over Lana and Naomi to retain the women's tag team titles. Shayna applying the Karafuda clutch on Lana to get her to tap out. Not a bad match. Not a very long match, though. They didn't really give them much time. I would have liked a little more time for this, especially considering it was a title match. It was kind of short. I think it needed a little bit more. You know? It's a tag team title match. Give it more time. Shayna took a double face buster at one point and looked like she was down, but Nia pulled Naomi out of the ring, and then Reginald distracted the ref on the cover. Lana had Shayna covered for like a 5 count, but the ref was distracted by Reginald, who actually helped Shayna and Nia this time. Shayna then put Lana in her chokehold. Lana escaped, but then fell right back into it and tapped out. Not a bad performance. I kind of wanted to see Lana and Naomi win the titles. I think Lana and Naomi would be nice as tag team champions. They'd be a refreshing difference, and, you know, you wouldn't have to keep them as the champions for that long. You just kind of give them a short little run. I think Lana deserves it. I talked about it a little bit last week. I feel bad for Lana. I think she deserves something. I'd like to see her get a title at some point in WWE. The Raw Women's title right now, because of the talent going after it, Charlotte, Asuka, Rhea, it seems a little out of her reach. But I feel like the tag team titles, especially team with somebody as great as Naomi. I'm a huge Naomi fan. I think she's fantastic. She's got a great look. She's great in the ring. Her promos are not the best, but, you know, the look and the in-ring work kind of make up for it. Naomi, one of the most impressive in the ring in the women's division. She can do some things that no one else can do. She's got a fantastic look, fantastic entrance. You know, she's got it all. The gear is always on point. Naomi is a great pro wrestler. People don't give Naomi enough credit. And just off the strength of Naomi, I think that she could have kind of carried Lana to a little tag team title run. And then maybe lost it back to Shayna and Nia or lost it to some other tag team, you know. Natty and Tamina. Have them as transitional champs. But just so Lana could say, hey, I was a tag team champion in WWE. I think that'd be nice for her. And Naomi, too. Naomi, I don't think, has held the tag team titles, right? She hasn't been tag team champion. She's been women's champion. I think Smackdown women's champion. I don't know if she's been the Raw women's champion, but give Naomi another belt. Naomi deserves it. She's fantastic. And then we have the main event, Drew McIntyre showing up during the match. It's Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley, your main event here tonight on Raw. Drew McIntyre, of course, will be wrestling Bobby and Braun in a triple threat for the WWE title at WrestleMania Backlash coming up in just a couple of weeks now on May the 16th. One more episode. Next week's episode of Raw will be the go-home show leading into WrestleMania Backlash. So Drew shows up mid-match. Braun Strowman just kind of held Bobby for a while, just holding him while Drew made his entrance. And I think Bobby was like, hit me, because they were just standing there. So Braun eventually like hit Bobby, and Bobby fell. But he was just kind of holding him like in an embrace for a while. It was a little strange. And then as so Braun drops Bobby, and then he goes out of the ring to confront Drew. And then Bobby jumps Braun from behind, and then Bobby's like, hey, Drew. Tries to, like, fist bump Drew and, like, be friends with Drew, but Drew's not having it. He goes to the commentary. And then later in the match, Braun is doing his charge around the ring, which they gave up on the train sound effects when he does that. Thank God, right? They don't do the train sound effects when Braun is doing his choo-choo around the ring. So he goes to do his charge. Bobby dodges it. Braun flies into Drew McIntyre, who's on commentary, right? So Drew falls over off the chair, and Drew gets mad and kind of gets up and shoves Braun, and Braun shoves him back, and they get into a bit of a shoving match. At this point, Drew McIntyre has shoved Braun Strowman. It's a disqualification. Match is over. But it's not. Like, they didn't end the match there, but they should have. When somebody else is involved in the match, you should end the match, right? Like, Drew pushed Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman landing on Drew, fine. Braun Strowman pushing Drew, fine. But at the minute Drew put his hands on Braun, shouldn't it have been a disqualification? But it wasn't. And then Braun just walks back into the ring. Drew, like, follows him. Drew gets on the apron. Braun starts yelling at Drew, and then turns around, gets speared by Bobby Lashley. 1, 2, 3, the match is over. And then Drew comes into the ring and hits his Claymore kick on Bobby. And then he stands tall, and he stands over Braun, and he's like, "Rrr." T-Bar and Mace didn't show up at all, which is a little weird. I guess they couldn't figure out who T-Bar and Mace are siding with. Because at first it seemed like T-Bar and Mace were sent by Bobby to attack Drew. But then last week, they cost Drew the match with Braun. So I guess T-Bar and Mace, like, have no affiliation. Because last week, T-Bar and Mace costing Drew the match with Braun allowed Braun to get into the title match at WrestleMania Backlash with Bobby and Drew, right? Which is something that Bobby wanted to avoid. So Bobby having sent T-Bar and Mace no longer made sense after what happened last week. So maybe the WWE realizing this said, well, just forget about T-Bar and Mace. Forget it. They're not on Raw anymore, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe they got, confused with their own logic and they had no answer. They had no way out, so they just kind of wrote them off. Because the fact that they weren't on the show tonight when they've been kind of a part of the story is a little weird. Are they on Team Braun? Are they on Team... They're not on Team Drew because they cost him the match last week. They could be on Team Braun, but they can't be on Team Bobby because... Right? I don't know. Anyways, they're not on the show. I think the WWE kind of gave up on it. That's what I'm saying. I think things changed this week. I think they had a meeting, and they're like, we need to change some of this creative direction, pal. It's kind of a mess. Bobby beats Braun tonight in the main event, and next week it'll be Bobby versus Drew. As if you haven't seen that enough, right? 6 days before they do battle at WrestleMania Backlash, they will wrestle each other one-on-one again. It was supposed to be the match at WrestleMania Backlash. It was the match at WrestleMania. We've seen it a bunch, and we're going to see it again on Raw leading into WrestleMania Backlash. It'll probably be the main event next week on Raw. Not too great. Derek John says, did Alexa jack the Fiend gimmick? Yes, she did. I think the Fiend gimmick has been fully taken over by Alexa Bliss. It's pretty funny. Patrick C. Hamilton says he's enjoying Raw tonight vicariously. Well, I'm happy, Patrick. I'm happy that tonight's show could be a little bit more upbeat than the past few weeks have been. I know they've been kind of a bummer, and Raw has been kind of a bummer for the past month. So I'm really happy. I'm happy that the show could be more fun for you guys. It could be more upbeat, and I'm not kind of like tired and angry from watching Raw for 3 hours, right? You kind of got tired and angry, Dave, because I was watching Raw, and it was really bad. But tonight was much better, so less tired, less angry. A lot happier seeing the show that we saw tonight. TK says, new Dark Side of the Ring this week, folks. Yes, I have seen the first hour of the Brian Pillman show. It's the Brian Pillman Dark Side of the Ring. The full 2 hours, I believe, will premiere on Wednesday. The first hour is out there if you look hard enough. It's on the Vice website, but I don't know if that's available in Canada. I think you might have to be a U.S. resident, but if you have a VPN, right? If you have a solid VPN, you can access whatever you want. Just saying. The first hour of the Brian Pillman Dark Side of the Ring is out. I did see it. It was really good. Really good. And honestly, crazy. Like, absolutely nuts. The stuff that happened in Brian Pillman's life, like, I don't want to spoil it for you because I'm sure a lot of you haven't seen it, but the thing with Brian's second wife, like, for those that have seen it or for those, like, who will see it, like, what happened to Brian Pillman's second wife? Second wife? I think it was his second wife. I don't know. It's really dark. You want to talk Dark Side of the Ring? It gets dark. It gets dark. Oh, my God. Is it on Crave, Patrick? Is the whole thing on Crave already? The Pillman episode, all 2 hours? Because if it is, I'm about to go watch hour 2 right now. Oh, dark. Oh, my God. There's a suicide, is all I'm going to say. And it's like, oh, I don't want to say more because I'm going to spoil it for you, and I don't want to say anything, but we'll review it at some point. We'll probably review it on Friday when we do Wrestling Uncensored. Something like that. But that, the Brian Pillman, like, Dark Side of the Ring is great. And the Brian Pillman episode, the first hour, incredible. Incredible stuff. Shocking. I haven't seen the Macho Man documentary yet. I know A&E did a Macho Man documentary. I haven't seen that one. It aired, last night? I've been really enjoying the A&E programming that the WWE has been doing. That show where they go find the memorabilia is, like, my favorite wrestling show. That's my favorite wrestling show. Like, I'm talking about, I like it more than Dynamite. Like, that's my favorite show now that I watch every week. The collection, whatever, WWE Unearthed Memorabilia show in the vault. Like, I really like that show. As a guy who likes kind of collecting wrestling stuff and, like, is into collecting and is into wrestling, that show's amazing. They have so much cool stuff. Like, the first episode, it was Mick Foley going to find, the original shirt that Mankind wore, and some guys got it in his basement, like on display. Spent thousands of dollars for all of his stuff at auction. He's got like Bret Hart ring-worn gear and stuff, That stuff intrigues me. I don't have the money to collect that type of stuff, but if I did, I would. If this channel takes off, baby, I'm going to buy some Bret Hart boots, and I'm going to display them proudly. And my significant other will not be happy about it, let me tell you. Oh, Patrick says first episode on Crave on Thursday. Okay, yeah, good. That's what I thought. It premieres Wednesday on Vice or whatever, but then like Thursday or late Wednesday night, Thursday morning, it's on Crave. So I'll be watching it there. But I really like that the WWE where they go and find the stuff. They had Undertaker and Kane going back to find things. It's pretty cool. Kane has like all his old stuff, and he made the WWE pay for it, but all of it kind of went to a charity. Some of these guys, like the collectors, it's like about bargaining with the collectors to buy the piece off of them so that they could put it in the WWE's. They're going to do a museum, I think, at some point with all the stuff, like a real Hall of Fame. They just haven't done it yet, but it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool show. So they had, like, Undertaker and Kane going back and finding their stuff. Undertaker just goes to a storage locker at one point, and he's just got, like, the Phantom mask that he wore when Mabel broke his orbital. He's got the purple gear, and he's just got all this stuff in, like, this, plastic crate, and he pulls it out. And it's like, yeah, I'm not going to ask WWE for anything. I'm just going to give it to them. And he just gives them all this, like, priceless stuff. Amazing. Jerry Lawler is, like, searching for some old King stuff now. I love that show. It's my favorite show. By far. I love it. I'm such a nerd for, like, wrestling memorabilia and stuff like that. Like, I could watch that show all day. It is fantastic. The A&E programming has been a lot better than I expected it to be. The Steve Austin documentary was not bad. I thought the Piper documentary was very good. Very good. I really liked it. One of the best documentaries on Roddy Piper I've ever seen. WWE's done a couple at least. But this one was really good. It was very thorough. I liked it. I liked it a lot. There's some stuff missing, but, there's always going to be some stuff missing, right? Especially when you're a guy like me who kind of eats, sleeps, and breathes pro wrestling and, like, I know the ins and outs of everything. It's going to take a lot to kind of surprise me or to give me some information that I don't know, and I feel like I'm learning a couple of things here and there in these documentaries, and that's always good. That's my gauge of, like, is this good? If I'm learning one or two new facts, like, I'm good with that. That's good stuff. Learned a little bit about Piper that I didn't know before, and, of course, there were some bits that they could have put in that they didn't, but I thought it was really good stuff. I loved it. Mako says he'd love to have the 10 pounds of gold from Flair. Yeah, it would cost you a pretty penny. And I think that most of Flair's belts are held by Conrad Thompson, right? His son-in-law. One of Flair's daughters married that guy Conrad Thompson, who's like the king of the wrestling podcast. And he has got like a massive wrestling belt collection. He's got some stuff, pal. Let me tell you. That guy's got the money, right? That guy's got money. I think he's a shoot millionaire. That guy's got real money. And he's got all the connections to buy all the stuff. Like he's Ric Flair's son-in-law, That guy's living the life, you know what I mean? He's living a lot of wrestling fans' dreams, He's pretty cool. I like Conrad Thompson. I like his podcasts. They're pretty good. I don't listen to all of them, but, he's good. I know he's got one with Jeff Jarrett now. That's good. I like the Kurt Angle one. The Kurt Angle one's good. I just like hearing Kurt Angle.
Super chat. Super chat.
Shout out to Angelo for the super chat. Now he wants to watch these shows on A&E for sure. Yeah. I got A&E on my cable package just to watch these shows, just because I knew WWE was putting out programming on A&E. I didn't have A&E on my cable. I have like a thing. It's like a la carte. I have like 15 channels or whatever cable. I don't watch a lot of TV, so I don't need tons of channels. I got like 15 channels, but every 30 days I can change what channels I have. So I got rid of something, and I got A&E specifically for the WWE stuff. It's good. It's good stuff. I don't remember what I got rid of. Some old movie channel that was like not showing anything, one of those. All right. Shout out to Angelo. You're the super chat leader of the night once again, my man. Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody joining us here tonight. Patrick C. Hamilton, Derek John. You guys are the lifeblood of this show. Angelo Contagonis. You guys keep this show running. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the members. Become a member of the team. Any other members on the chat tonight? I want to give a shout out to everybody. I think it was Derek, Angelo. Did I see Craig? I don't think I saw Craig tonight. Doug Hepburn. There's Doug Hepburn as well. Angelo, Patrick, Derek. Appreciate you guys and everybody else watching as well. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching tonight. I am here after every episode of Raw every Monday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Shout out to Anthony watching in London, England tonight. That was cool. Watching us out all the way in London, and it was like 4 a.m. his time, but he's staying up with us. Appreciate you, Anthony. So we're here every Monday night after Raw, every Wednesday night after Dynamite with Glenn and Johnny. Is it Blood and Guts this week? No, Blood and Guts is next week, right? And every Friday night after SmackDown with my main man, Johnny North. And, of course, Thursday nights. Thursday nights here on the Ringside Report Network, we talk MMA. We give you our MMA thoughts, everything going on in the UFC. UFC has another card coming up this weekend. Next weekend is a big pay-per-view in Houston, Texas, UFC 262. Gearing up for that one. We all had Yuri Prochazka getting the big victory on Saturday night. Beautiful spinning elbow knockout over Dominic Reyes from Yuri Prochazka. Oh, my God. Wasn't that awesome? Did you guys see that? Holy shit. Yuri Prochazka. That guy's awesome. I'm a big fan. Big fan. Have been for, a couple of fights now. And even more now. What a cool guy. Shout out to everybody watching. We appreciate you. And, wait, Blood and Guts is this week? Hold on. Is it this week? Yeah, because the parlay was last week. Oh, you guys are right. You guys are right. Blood and Guts is this week. Angelo is like, it's this week. Derek John's like, it's this week. This is why I need you guys to keep me honest. Sometimes, there's a lot going on, UFC events to keep track of and all sorts of. Blood and Guts is this week from AEW, right? Oh, that's fun. That'll be good. They'll do the big double cage match with the Inner Circle and Pinnacle. So we'll have a fun show coming up on Wednesday night, and that'll be the next time I'm here on the Ringside Report Network, Wednesday night, 10 p.m., right after AEW Dynamite. Blood and Guts, pal. Blood and Guts is this week. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate you. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so you get notifications each and every time we are on. Subscribe to the channel. Really. I'm going to be doing giveaways. You guys like wrestling toys? You guys like pro wrestling action figures? You guys interested in me doing some giveaways for some of the members for some pro wrestling toys? Let's get some subscribers up. Let's move it up. Let's move the membership up. Let's move the subscribers up. Let's keep it going. If you guys are interested in some giveaways and stuff, I got some stuff I could give you. All right? I'm going to give you some stuff. Let's go. It's the Ringside Report Network. I got stuff to give. I'm going to give away some AEW toys, okay? AEW toys are super hot. People want those. I've got you. I've got you. It's coming. All right? Stay tuned. See you again. Angelo says tomorrow night. I don't think I'm on tomorrow night. Tomorrow's Tuesday, right? I'm not on Tuesday. I guess technically today is Tuesday because it's past midnight, but. Oh, Derek and Angelo are interested. There you go. All right, well, stay tuned, guys. There's going to be some stuff. We're going to give away some stuff. You're going to have to subscribe and do some things, but it's happening. I know you guys are down. TK is down. All right. It's going to happen. We're going to start doing giveaways here on the Ringside Report Network. We're going to give away some toys because I got some plans, all right? I got some plans. Work with me, all right? Stay with me. Yeah. Okay? I love you big time. Shout out to everybody watching. And Mako says he's going to bring 5 new subs this week. That's it. There you go. Keep bringing those subscribers to the Ringside Report Network. And there's going to be some stuff given away. So keep subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe right now. It's going to pay to be a subscriber. It's going to pay double to be a member. All right? So be a member as well. Be a member of the YouTube channel. Like this video and leave a comment under this video as well. Oh, Patrick is saying members only. Yeah, I think the giveaways might be members only, Patrick. You might be right about that, okay? Leave a comment under this video. Say, I want wrestling toys, Dave. Say, I love you, Dave. You are the best. You're so handsome. You're looking super handsome. Did you shave your head this week? Yes, I did. Oh, you must look so good. Nice hair, Dave. You're beautiful. I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Okay? Leave those comments and, you know, I mean, that would be very nice. I love you. Okay? Bye.